all well on this Wednesday morning. Beautiful blue skies in Northampton. Don't know how long that'll last. But today is Marathon Wednesday, and today it is part 5 of the Eric Clapton story. And we've got up to his solo projects, all his solo albums. And he's got 21 solo albums. So we're going to crack on because we know introductions to Eric. We know what he's been up to because we've been following him. So we'll get cracking today. So coming in at number 21, we have album released on 2018 October, his 21st album, and it's Happy Christmas. So on here he's got Eric Clapton, Doyle Bramhall II on guitar, Walt Richmond on acoustic, piano and keyboards, Toby Baker on the keyboards, Simon Klein keyboards, Tim Carman Hammond organ, Dirk Powell accordion and fiddle, Nathan East bass guitar, and on the drums is a certain Mr. Ringo Starr. Basically this is a collection of Christmas songs and all sorts of things. So on here we've got White Christmas, which I don't really like. White Christmas is not supposed to be a blues song, sorry. Then we got Away in a Manger, Once in Royal David's City. It just doesn't sound right with this sort of reggae type beat. For the Love of Christmas, which is a new song that he wrote, it's not too bad. It's a bit dour, but there you go. Every Day Will Be Like a Holiday isn't a bad version of the 1967 song, but it's not fantastic. Christmas Tears, again, it's okay. Home for the Holidays, it's not a bad version. I mean, Perry Como have done it. Then we get Jingle Bells, and all I put on my notes was WTF, and that's all I'll say about that. Christmas in my hometown, sorry. Charlie Pride did this, it's okay. It's Christmas. It's probably the most upbeat song on the whole album. Sentimental Moments, which is from a film called We Are No Angels. It's alright. Lonesome Christmas has been covered by a lot of people, but never been a favourite song to me. It doesn't really give me that Christmas cheer. Silent Night, don't like that. Merry Christmas Baby. It's a nice blues number, but it doesn't seem very Christmassy. Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Oh, that's alright. A Little Bit of Christmas Love, again, okay. Always Hurt the One You Love. Not very enthralling. Connie Francis version. I'll put it this way, this is not an album I die for on Christmas Day. The traditional carols are terrible. There's a couple of little nice blues tracks on here, but it doesn't really get me in the Christmas mood, I'm afraid. I mean, you can't get in the Christmas mood in the middle of April when I listen to it, but it just doesn't ring anything. I mean, I've got it, but I don't play it very often. And I've got to give this an RTO ranking of 3 out of 10. Okay, then coming out at number 20, we get the 13th album released in 1998, Pilgrim. Now, there's loads of people that play on this, so I'm just going to pick out 1 or 2 stars that appeared on it. On this one, we had Paul Carrick, who appeared on the Hammond organ, and, well, it's a piano. My Father's Eyes, this is a reworking of the song he did unplugged. To be quite honest, the unplugged version is far better than this. The drum beat is just doesn't fit the song. Rivers of Tear, it sends you to sleep. It's really depressing and not uplifting at all, I'm afraid. Pilgrim itself, I just don't like the drum beat on this. I don't like the sound of it on this album, full stop. Broken Hearted, It's got some nice guitar work from Eric, but again, it's that drum. It just doesn't really go with it. One Chance. Get rid of the drum beat and it's a half decent song. Circus, which is another reworking. It's one of the better tracks on this album. Going Down Slow. Horrible drum beat that totally spoils the song. Full Light Round. Now, I actually like this. It's probably it is the best track on the album. The drum sounds proper, and it's got some nice guitar work from Eric. Born in Time, Bob Dylan song, another a song, you know, it's not too bad, don't mind that one. Sick and Tired, again, much better. This is a great little blues rock number, really good track, like that one. He Needs His Woman. Here we go, back to the horrible drum and the horrible sound. It doesn't do nothing for me. She's Gone. This had so much potential. I think it just fades away with the horrible mix. You Were There. This isn't too bad. The drums don't sound too bad on this. Inside of Me, a good track spoilt by bad drums. Oh dear. There's about 3 or 4 songs on there that are really good, and the rest, I like the songs, don't get me wrong, but get rid of that beat. Go back into the studio and get a drummer that actually follows the songs. It's not terrible, but I just don't play this very often, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 5.5. Okay, then coming in at number 19, we have the 10th album released in 1986, August. Notables on this one is, of course, Gary Brooker from Procol Harum, Mr. Phil Collins, and Tina Turner. First track on them, it's The Way That You Use It. One of the best songs on the album. Catchy tune, even though it's got that horrible 80s production on it. The drumming is good. I don't mind that track at all. Run, not a particular favourite of mine. This is a bit funk pop, and to be quite honest, it doesn't suit Eric. I just wonder if it has Phil Collins. I mean, Phil Collins solo album's great, but I don't know if Phil had a lot of influence on that track, but it should have been on a Phil Collins solo album, to be quite honest. Then we get Tearing Us Apart, which he sang with Tina. Great little track this is. It's great hearing Tina and Eric together. Good track. Bad Influence. It's a good track, but I'm half expecting Stevie Wonder to sing this and not Eric Clapton. I like the song, yeah. Walk Away. The horrible 80s sound, horrible 80s keyboards. Hung Up on Your Love. More 80s sounding poppy, whatever you want to call it. Not for me. Then we get Take a Chance. I just don't get it. You know, you're a bluesy rock artist, and then you're going into an area that you really shouldn't even bother. Again, this is more suited to the Phil Collins sort of solo album stuff. I should have put this song on. What's the name of the album? Can't remember. The one that Eric Clapton plays a lot on. It should have been on that. Hold On. I like this. Great drumming from Phil on this. This is more of a sort of a Genesis, 80s Genesis, Abacab style sort of track. Also, okay. Miss You. The only good thing about this is Eric's solo. Holy Mother. One of the tracks I do like on this album. It's a nice gentle track with a nice guitar and some good drumming from Phil. Then we get Behind the Mask. I actually do like this track. Always have. I love the guitar solo in it, and Phil drumming is quite good on this as well. And the last track is Grand Illusion. Sounds something like more that should be on No Jacket Required than an Eric Clapton album. I think this album actually was was an album of its time. It has got some good tracks on it. I mean, the drumming by Phil Collins on this is pretty good, full stop. But on the whole, it's a mishmash of Eric trying to do pop more than blues. So my advice, yeah, this should have stuck to what you know, Eric. But there has got some good stuff on this. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 18, we got the 17th album, released in 2005, Back Home. Notables on here are Stevie Winwood on the keyboards and Billy Preston on keyboards. So Tired is the first track. I don't mind this track. It's got a nice upbeat to it. It's got a great guitar solo from Eric. Pretty good. Say What You Will. It's got a little bit of a reggae feel to that. Now, he does some good songs that have got this reggae beat to it, but this one is one of the good ones. Really good. On Going Left. This is written by Stevie Wonder and Sarita Wright. It's got some great piano on here from Steve Winwood. Great guitar solo, and it's actually not a bad cover of this song. Love Don't Love Nobody. Pretty good version of the Spinners song. This is very good. Like that track. Revolution. This is okay. Not too bad. Love Comes to Everyone. This is a George Harrison song. This came out not long after George had passed, and obviously George and Eric were really good mates. This is off his George Harrison's self-titled album, and it's a really good version, and he really sings it with a lot of sincereness. I don't mind that. Lost and Found. This is my favourite track on the album. It's a great blues number written by Doyle Bramwell II. Brilliant track. One Day, not a particular favourable for me. It's not memorable. One Track Mind, it's okay. I wouldn't say it's the best thing since sliced bread, but it's listenable. Run Home to Me, a nice slow bluesy number. This is more like it. Some nice keyboards on this and some good guitar work from Eric as ever. Back Home, this is a nice track. It's an acoustic sort of thing. Pleasant to listen to. Okay, not a bad album. It's got some good covers on here, and some original stuff was pretty good. I don't own this one, but I do listen to it on Spotify. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6.5. Okay, coming in at number 17 then, we go to 1985 and the 9th album, Behind the Sun. Notables on here, we've got Steve Lukather, Lindsey Buckingham's on this one, Donald Dunn's on this, Phil Collins again, and Ted Templeman. She's Waiting. Even though with this 80s production, this is a really good track. I love the guitar at the beginning from Eric. It's pretty cool. I like that. See What You Can Do, Love Can Do. It's reasonable. Very 80s, but it's reasonable. Then we get my favourite track, Same Old Blues. The best thing in the album. It's absolutely brilliant. Some great drumming from Phil Collins on that. Brilliant good. Then we get a great cover of Knock on Wood. Really good version of this classic song. I love Eric's version of this. It's really, really good. Something Happening. It's not a bad track. It's got some nice rhythm guitar on this because it's provided by Mr. Lindsey Buckingham, which is pretty cool, and the solo's pretty good. I like that track. Forever Man. Not particularly favourite of mine. It's just 280s for me. It's that horrible sound. All It Depends. I don't mind this one. It's got a nice upbeat to this one. Tangled in Love. I like the drumming on this. I wonder why. It's pretty good. Never Make You Cry. Co-wrote by Phil Collins and Eric. It's a really good track. Like that one a lot. Just like a Prisoner. Not a great fan of this one, but I love this guitar solo in it, and I'm going to sneeze in a minute. Right, and the next one is Behind the Sun. Gesundheit. It's a nice little guitar piece album to end the album. I think this is one of the better albums from the mid-80s. It's got some really good tracks on this, and I think this is certainly better than August was. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 16, we're going to his fourth album, released in 1976, No Reason to Cry. On here we've got Bob Dylan, Ron Wood from the Stones, and Chris Jagger, which is Mick's brother. Georgie Fame's on here, and Billy Preston. First track is Beautiful Thing. Good track. You can tell Ronnie Wood's playing on this. It's terrific. And the keyboards sound pretty good. Carnival, it's okay. It's not one of my favourite songs. Sign Language, I like this one. Pretty good. County Jail Blues, this is more of a country song. It's alright. It's not a particular favourite of mine. All our past times. It's too country rock for me. I really never got into the 70s country rock. I like some of the 80s and 90s country rock, but this is just too. This is the sort of thing my grandparents would have listened to. They were big country fans, so yeah, that's the sort of thing my nan and granddad would listen to, really. Hello, Old Friend, it's alright. Double Trouble, though, I love this version of the Otis Rush song. Best track on the album. Innocent Times. I just don't like that song at all. Hungry. This is more southern rock than country rock, and I do quite like that. And Black Summer Rain is not a bad track. Okay, I know a lot of people like this album from the 70s, but I don't really connect with this one. It's got one or two good tracks on it, but I'm not keen on that country sounding thing. I expect the Dukes of Hazzard to walk through I just don't like that sound. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 7.3. Okay, then coming in at number 15, we get to the 19th album. And as usual, I forget to put things down like when it come out, so I shall just add it, just like that. This is Old Sock. And it's an album that's got lots of people on it, including Paul McCartney, Stevie Winwood, J.J. Cale, who he does a lot of work with, and it includes 2 new songs, Gotta Get Over and Every Little Thing, and all the others are covers. First one is Further Down the Road, written by Taj Mahal, and it actually features Taj Mahal. It's got this habit though of making everything sound reggae, some of these covers, and I like the original much better. Then we get Angel, which features J.J. Cale, and I like some of J.J. Cale's songs, and it's not a bad version of that song. Then we get The Folks Who Live on the Hill. Now this is written by Oscar Hammerstein II, and it was really made famous by Peggy Lee, and it is not a bad version of this song. I quite like it. Gotta Get Over, which is one of these new tracks, features Chaka Khan, or as we used to call her, Chaka Brick. It's actually quite good. I like Eric's guitar work on this. Till the Well runs Dry, which is a Peter Tosh number. It's okay. Then we get my favourite track on here, which is features Paul McCartney, All of Me. This is a nice little track. Nice. Got this 30s, 40s feel to it. It's pretty good. Born to Lose, Ted Daffen's song, too country for me. He's gone way the other way. Then we get Still Got the Blues, which is the Gary Moore number, and all I can say about that is there's only one version of that, and it certainly isn't this. Good Night, Irene. It's very country. Don't like it. You're One and Only Man, Otis Redding song, and he's trying to make it sound reggae again, and it just doesn't sound right. Every Little Thing, another good song. Got a bit of country guitar, but that's alright. I can cope with that. Our Love Is Here to Stay. This was first recorded in 1938, and it's a nice interpretation of this George Gershwin number. Okay, it's not a bad album. Some of the covers are alright, some of them are not. But the new tracks in that 40s style are pretty good. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.4. Okay, then coming in at number 14, we have the 7th album, released in 1981, Another Ticket. Oh, we got on here this is a very short band listing, so we can do this one. There's Eric Clapton on here, Gary Brooker's on keyboards, Chris Staten on keyboards, Albert Lee on the guitars, Dave Markey on the bass, and Henry Spinetti on drums. First track on here is Something Special. Love Gary Brooker's work on this. It's a great track. Nice keyboards. Black Rose, one of them nice gentle tracks, pretty good. Then we get a cover of Blow Wind Blow for Muddy Waters. Great version of this stuff. Eric is just amazing on here, and so is Gary Brooker. Another Ticket, not a bad track, nice slow song, pretty cool. I Can't Stand It. This is one of them real first 80s soundings from Eric's, although it's not too bad. Hold Me Lord, it's a lovely little blues track going here, some nice guitar work from Eric. I do like that one. Floating Bridge, now this is a song that was recorded by Sleepy John Estes way back, and it's a great version of this song. Catch Me If You Can, written by Gary Brooker and Eric. Great track, love the keyboard work on this. Rita May, it's very fast. Can't quite get my head around that one, but there you go. It's certainly one of the better albums in the 80s. It's got some really good tracks on here. Some of the covers are pretty good. There are some suspect tracks on here, but on the whole it's an enjoyable album. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, then coming at number 13, we go to the 14th album. From 2001, Reptile. Paul Carrick's on here, Billy Preston. First track is the title track, Reptile. I love this jazzy sort of sound on this. Love the guitar from Eric, it is fantastic. Got You On My Mind, a song written in 1952, and this is a great version. I love that track. Then we get Travelling Light, the J.J. Cale version, and it's a nice version of one of J.J. Cale's songs. I think Eric's is a little bit better. Believe in Life, another good song. Some great drums on this. A little shuffly drum solo thing. Really good. Come Back Baby. Ray Charles number. A great cover. It's my favourite track on the album, in fact. It's a great vocal from Eric. He did a great job on that track. Broken Down, another good track. Some lovely acoustic work here. Pretty good. Find Myself. This is an acoustic jazzy blues feel to it. Really like this. I Ain't Gonna Stand For It, which is a Stevie Wonder number, of course, and he does a cracking version of it. Really, really good. Now the next track is called I Want a Little Girl. Now this was written in the 30s. It's first released by McKinley's Cotton Pickers in 1930. Louis Armstrong's done a version of this as well. And Eric's version is really good. He's got this knack of taking old blues songs and really making them brilliant, and that's one of them. Then we get Second Nature. This is an acoustic blues number. Now you can tell he's influenced by Robert Johnson on this, because it's got that Robert Johnson feel, you know, sit down on a chair and play your guitar sort of thing. Pretty good. We get another cover, Don't Let Me Be Lonely Tonight, which is a James Taylor song. Really good song. Both James, I like both versions. Eric's version is great as well. Really good track. Modern Girl, stonking bass line on this. So catchy. Superman Inside, nice blues track this is. It's got some great blues guitar playing from Eric. Pretty solid. Sun and Sylvia, not a particular favourite of mine, but I do like the solo. This is a really good album. Even the covers on here are fantastic. It's just a great album. Really enjoy listening to this one. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 7.6. Okay then, coming in at number 12, we have the sixth album from 1978. It's Backless. This has got Eric Clapton in it, Dick Sims on keyboards, George Terry guitars, the late Carl Cradle on bass, Jimmy Oldacre on drums, Marcy Levy backing vocals, and Benny Gallagher and Graham Lyle. Gallagher and Lyle do some backing vocals on Golden Ring. First track is Walk Out in the Rain. Certainly got this Bob Dylan feel because it was written by Bob Dylan. It's not a bad version of this song. Watch Out for Lucy. Catchy guitar. Love the guitar work from Eric on this one. It's got such a catchy beat to it as well. Then we get another J.J. Cale song. There's lots on his albums. I'll Make Love to You Anytime. Another good version of a J.J. Cale song. Roll It. Nice little rock guitar on this. It's got that, it's a southern rock feel to it. Really like that track. Lost myself now. Here we go. Tell me that you love me. It's alright. Not my favourite. If I Don't Be There by the Morning. Another song written by Bob Dylan. Tell he's had a lot of influence on this. It's a really good track. Early in the Morning. Now this is a real old song. It first performed in 1949 in the film Look Out Sister. This is a great version of it, and Eric's really done a great version, and it's totally different from what it sounded like in 1949, but it's a good version of it. Promises. This is another song that was written a long time ago, and as I said before, he's got this knack of taking old songs and making them, getting them a bit more life. It's a great version. Then we get Golden Ring. This is that song that Gallagher and Lyle are on, and it's brilliant. Lovely riffs. Now my favourite track on here is this track I've always liked. It's called Tulsa Time. It's written by Danny Flowers. It was first recorded by Don Williams. Now my granddad was a big Don Williams fan, and I first heard that on one of his albums, and I thought, this is great. And then the next time I heard it, which was not very long after, Eric had done a version. I thought, wow, great, and I love that track. Always have. This is another great album. I love hearing some of these real old traditional blues songs and old songs from the 40s. and what Eric's done to them. It's absolutely great. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.8. Thirsty time for drinky poos. Right, coming in at number 11 then, we've got the 18th album released in 2010, and it's just called Clapton. On here we've got JJ Carroll, Carroll, and Paul Carrick again, and Sheryl Crow. There's some vocals on this, on one of the tracks. Okay, first track. These are mostly covers. There's some good covers. We got Traveling Alone. This was done by Little Son Jackson. Belter of a version of this song, really, really good. Then we get Rocking Chair, that was done by Hoagie Carmichael. Classic track, great version of the song. River Runs Deep. Great track. It's even better when you've got JJ Cale playing on it. So it's a really good track. Judgment Day, which was a Snooky Pryor song. Great cover. I mean, I've listened to all these originals while I was doing this as well, and this is a great version. Does it justice. Then we get a track called How Deep Is the Ocean, which was written by Irving Berlin. And it was performed by Al Johnson in the film Mammy. And this is a fantastic version of this song that Eric has arranged. Really, really good. Then we get a track that was first done by Fats Waller in his Rhythm in 1935. My Very Good Friend the Milkman. Now, I've heard this track, and Eric has actually kept this very much in the vein of the 1935 version. It's a terrific song. Can't Hold On Much Longer. This is a track by Little Walter and his Nightcats from 1952. Again, belter. Really does a great version of that. That's No Way to Get Along. This was done again from 1930. This song is from the Rev Robert Wilkins. Great track. It was just recorded on acoustic guitar, and they've done a really good version. It's Everything Will Be Alright. Really good song, JJ Cale song. Diamonds Made from Rain. This is a new song. Very, very good, but he's kept it in the vein of the rest of the album with that 40s, 50s song. Really, really good. Then we get When Somebody Thinks You're Wonderful. Again, this is recorded by Thomas Fats Weller in the Rhythm in 1935, and he does this great, and he just oomph up this great little blues song, but it's done in the same vein as it was recorded back then. Then we got Hard Time Blues. Now, this is a track that was recorded by Lane Harding in 1936. Again, it was just sitting down on a chair and playing a guitar, and Eric's made this into a great little blues number. Really, really good. Run Back to Your Side. This is one of the newer tracks, and it's great. My favourite on the album is modern blues, jazz, whatever you want to call it, but it's got a great track beat to it. Then we get Autumn Leaves, which was first recorded in 1955 by Roger Williams. A lot of people have covered this as well, and it's a great version. I love this album. I really do, because it's really brought to life some classic old songs. The two new tracks are good as well. He's taken these real old blues tracks and turned them into gems. Fantastic stuff. So I'm going to give this one an RTO ranking of 7.9. Okay then, coming in at number 10, we go back to his debut studio album as a solo artist, released in August 1970. This one's just called Eric Clapton. On here we've got Eric Clapton, Delaney Bramett on rhythm guitars, Stephen Stills is on this one. He does guitars and bass on Let It Rain and the backing vocals. Leno Russell on piano. John Simon on piano. Bobby Whitlock from the Dominoes is on here. Late Carl Cradle again. Jim Gordon on drums, and Rita Coolidge does some backing vocals. First track on here is called Slunky. Love this. It's a real jazzy, bluesy, rocky track. Nice little instrumental. Really good. Love that track. Bad Boy, again, great blues number. Terrific guitar work from Eric on that one. Lonesome and A Long Way From Home. This is a bit weird. It's got brass in it, but the funky guitar sounds are okay. I'm not quite sure about that one. And then we get another J.J. Cale cover. This is his version of After Midnight. Both versions are good for different reasons. This one's a more upbeat tempo version of it, and I really like this track. Always like this track. Easy Now, an acoustic number from Eric, really good. Blues Power, well, it just what it says on the tin, doesn't it? Very great track, great bluesy number. Great work from Eric as usual. Then we get A Bottle of Red Wine. This is a nice little rocker, blues rocker. Great beat, great drumming on it. It's solid. Loving You, Loving Me. Not my favourite track on the album. It's one of the weaker tracks for me. Told You for the Last Time. This is a short little ditty, but it's quite good. Don't know why. I like this track because it's some of Eric's great guitar playing. Brilliant. Then we get Let It Rain, one of my favourite tracks. It's quite proggy in places as well. I just love this. I love the keyboards on this. Good way to win the album. Yeah, solid debut album. There's some really good tracks on here. As with most artists, when they put out their first album, they're still sort of searching for what they want. But it's a solid album, and I play this one quite a lot. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 9, we go to 2016 now. And this is I Still Do. It's got some new material and some other influences from him that made him into what he is. On here we have got Eric Clapton, Paul Brady playing acoustic guitar, Andy Fairweather on acoustic, Angelo Mysterio, sounds like a magician, it's a acoustic guitar, Simon Climbs on here, Paul Carrick, Dirt Powell, Henry Spinetti. First track on here is a thing called Alabama Woman Blues. Now this was recorded by Leroy Carr a long time ago, and he's done a great version of it. Again, it's one of them that's very basic, the original, but Eric's taken it, added bits to it, and it sounds really good. Can't Let You Do It, another fine cover from J.J. Cale, does a fine job. I'll Be There For You. Now this is written by Paul Brady. Now I've got this by an Irish singer called Mary Black. That's a nice gentle version, but this is more rocky. It's a great song, and I think this is a really good version. Spiral, great track. This actually shows, this is a new track, this shows that Eric is still the master of the blues. Really, really good. Then we get Catch the Blues. There's a little bit of bongo-y type thing going on here, and it's a really good track. Cypress Grove, which is a Skip James number that was recorded in 1930. Very basic sort of sound, but Eric has taken it, put it in his little machine, and come up with a great number. Really, really good. Then we got a track called Little Man, You've Had a Busy Day. Now, Perry Como did this originally. It was more of a crooner sort of song. but this is Eric's turned it into a more of a bluesy number, and I do prefer this version. Then we get Stones in My Pathway, which is a Robert Johnson song, of course. Now, I love Robert Johnson. Not as much as Eric, I don't think, but I do love it. And I think this is one of the best covers that he's actually done of a Robert Johnson song. It's brilliant. I Dreamed, I Saw St. Augustine, written by Bob Dylan. Sounds really good, Eric doing it. Better version than Bob's. I'll Be Alright. This is an additional song. This is covered by gospel choirs and that, but Eric does a fine job on there, and Sheryl Crow sings on this one, I do believe. No, she doesn't. That's another album. What am I talking about? Don't know what I'm talking about. Shouldn't be doing this, should I? Okay, now that it's all going wrong again. Then we get Somebody's Knocking, which is another J.J. Cale song, pretty good. Then there's a track called I'll Be Seeing You. This is from a Broadway musical released in 1938. Tony Bennett's done a version of this, but Eric's is pretty good. Another solid album, lots of covers, but I don't mind because he does great versions of these covers, and I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.1. Okay, then coming in at number 8, this is the 16th album, released in 2004, Sessions for Robert J. As there was 2 albums that he did with Robert Johnson stuff on, and this is the second one. On here we've got Eric Clapton on guitar, Andy Fairweather, Doyle Bramall on guitar, Billy Preston, Steve Gadd, Jim Kelter. I won't go through because these are all great. The tracks on this one are Sweet Home Chicago, Milk Calf Blues, Terraplane Blues, If I Had Possession Over Judgment Day, Stop Breaking Down Blues, The Queen of Little Spades, Travelling Riverside Blues, Me and the Devil Blues, For Late Until Late, Kind Hearted Woman Blues, and Rambling on My Mind. Now, I love Robert Johnson, and I think Eric's done these tracks brilliantly. It's the best version on this. Its best one is Sweet Home Chicago. I've heard lots of people do it, and Eric does a fine version. It's a solid album of great Robert Johnson songs, top to bottom. Some of them have repeated on the other one, so he's done a repeat, but I don't mind. I can listen to this sort of thing all day. And I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.2. Okay, then coming in at number 7 is that first album with Johnson stuff on it. It's the 15th, released in March 2004, and it's just called Me and Mr. Johnson. Same people as on the last album playing. On this one we get When You Got a Good Friend, Little Queen of Spades again, Their Heart, Me and the Devil Blues again, Travelling Riverside Blues, Last Fair Deal Gone Down, Stop Breaking Down Blues, Milk Calf Blues again, Kind Hearted Woman Blues again, Come Into My Kitchen, Having a Chicken, If I Had Possession Over Judgment Day, Lost in Vain, and the 3220 Blues. As I said before, top to bottom, another good selection of Robert Johnson recordings, and this one's a little bit better, I think, because this is, the other one's got repeated itself a little bit, but I'm still going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.3. Okay, then coming in at number 6, we got another 12th album released in 1994 from the Cradle. Eric Clapton's on this, Andy Fairweather on the guitars, Chris Stainton keyboards, Dave Bronze bass, Jim Kelter's on the drums, Ricky Hayward on percussion, Jerry Portnoy harmonica. Then we got the kick horns, which is Simon Clarke, Tim Sanders and Roddy Lorimer. First track on here, these are basically all covers and inspired him. Again, we got Blues Before Sunrise. This was done originally by Leroy Carr, but the version that he does is the version that very similar to Elmore James's. This is a killer song. I've always loved this song, and Eric and the band here do a fantastic version of it. It's just brilliant. Third Degree, which was written by Eddie Boyd and Willie Dixon. This is another great version. They just absolutely kill it. Reconsider Baby. I've heard Lowell Fulson's original version, but Eric does a sterling job on it as ever. Then we get one of my favourite blues songs ever. It's Hoochie Coochie Man by Willie Dixon, but really made famous by Muddy Waters, of course. I think Eric's version is as good as Muddy's. It's just a great blues song. Then we get 5 Years Long. It's just a great blues song, and Eric as ever just gives it that extra edge and brings it back to life. Then we get I'm Torn Down. Now this is a song that was filmed by Freddie King. It's doing the same sort of vein as the original, and it's just brilliant. Then we've got How Long Blues. Now this is very old. The recording I've found of it is just, again, a very basic acoustic guitar, but Eric comes along and turns this great, really nice song into a brilliant song. Fantastic sound he gets on this. Going Away Baby. It was written by J.A. Lane. This just takes him back to his days with the Yardbirds. It's just brilliant stuff. Blues Leave Me Alone, which is another J.A. Lane track. This just makes him sound the best British blues guitar player in the world, and singer. It's great. Sinner's Prayer. Love this. Another great track from the past. Great horns on this, the brass. Eric's vocal is brilliant. Now we get Motherless Child. And this is an acoustic version of a Robert Hicks track from 1927. It comes on another album, but it's more electric. But this is very much in the vein of as it was played back in 1927, and it's brilliant. Then we get It Hurts Me Too, which is a Tampa Red number. Just a great blues number. Guitar and singing is just great. Someday After a While, Freddie King. Solid version of this, brilliant stuff. Standing Around Crying, lovely harmonica on here, proper blues. Eric Duss is on fire. Drifting, it's one of them tracks that you got that do-dun, 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 and foot tapping and guitar like John Lee Hooker used to do. I just love that, it's just brilliant. Love that sound. Grown in the Blues, originally performed by Otis Rush, of course, and this has got the best guitar solo on the whole album. It is a great version of this song. Without a doubt, this is one of Eric's best covers albums. All these classics are here from the 30s and 40s, and Eric did amazing versions of them. Eric sings brilliant on this album. This is a terrific album. Play this one a lot again. I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8.4. Okay then, coming in at number 5. Go to the 11th album from 1989, Journeyman. On here we have got Robert Cray plays on here, Darryl Jones, Phil Collins, Steve Ferroni, George Harrison's on here, and Chuck Brick, herself, Chaka Khan. Presenting, great song. Love this. Great vocal from Eric and some pretty strong guitar work on that one as well. Anything for Your Love. This is a bit different for Eric, but it worked and I like it. Bad Love. Great track. Phil's drumming's good on it. Okay, it's an 80s sounding one, but it's got some great drumming, which I think really adds to the track. Running on Faith, nice little slow number, which is pretty good. Hard Times, another Ray Charles classic, and he does a brilliant version of this. The sax on this is terrific. Compliments Eric's guitar playing, well, brilliant. Hound Dog, no, I don't like this version. It's horrible. No Alibis, great guitar solo on this. He sings this well, a really good track. Run So Far, this is the George Harrison number. George wrote it for this, but George did actually do it on his last album, Brainwashed, as well. Both sort of different versions, but this is a really good version on this. Really good. Old Love, written by Eric Clapton and Robert Cray. Really good song. So ballad bluesy track. Great guitar touches from Eric on this. Really good. Breaking Point, one of the weaker tracks on here, but I'm afraid I'm not very keen on that one. Now, Lean On Me, this is written by Womack and Womack, and Linda actually sings on this. It's brilliant. They wrote it especially for Eric, and it's a fantastic. And my favourite track on here is the last track, and it's a cover, and it's a brilliant version of Bo Diddley's Before You Accuse Me. Absolutely killer version. Great stuff. Okay, after that mid-80s albums, he sort of gets back on track with this one. Goes back to what he knows best. So the covers on here are really good. It's an excellent album. Play this one again a lot. And I'll give this one an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay then, coming in at number 4. We go to the third album from 1975. There's One in Every Crowd. This is Eric Clapton, Dick Sims, Albany Gultan, I think that's how you pronounce his name, George Terry, Carl Raddle, Jamie Oldacre on the drums, Yvonne Elliman, yes, Yvonne Elliman from Jesus Christ Superstar fame, and Marcy Levy on vocals. Okay, the first track is a traditional blues song called We've Been Told Jesus Is Coming, written by Willie Johnson, and it's a great version of Willie Johnson's track. Then we get Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. Again, Eric decides to take this traditional song and turn it into a reggae song. No, don't do that. It should be sung like the England rugby fans sing it, I'm afraid. Great song. Very patriotic type thing. I know that a lot of people think there's a bit of controversy in there, but at the end of the day, it's a great song. Little Rachel is a Jim Byfield number, and I think this is as good as Jim Byfield's great tune. Don't Blame Me. Now, I've been giving him some stick for doing reggae sounding tracks, but this is one I really like. It's an upbeat, very good fun track. Then we get The Sky Is Crying, which is an Elmore James number. Terrific version of this. Eric does a fine job on this. Great singing and playing guitar. Singing the Blues, which was a Mary McCready song, and I think he pulled this one off. This is far better than hers. Hers is more reggae, his is more blues. Better Make It Through the Day. I love this gentle jazz blues fusion. Really chill out. Love the keyboard on it. Great vocal from Eric. Pretty Blue Eyes. This is a nice little rock track. Got some nice harmonies, melody on this. Pretty good. Hi. This is quite a little quirky number again. I love the catchy tune on this. Opposites. This is my favourite, one of my favourite tracks on the album. I love the arrangement. It's got some nice guitar work. It's a gentle track, but I really, really like it. As usual with Eric, we got some great original tracks on this. The covers are very, very good as well. And I love this album. And I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8.6. Okay then, coming in at number 3, we've got the 8th album now, from 1983, Money and Cigarettes. Eric Clapton's on this, Albert Lee, Pete Solly does the Hammond organ, Roy Cooder on the guitars, Donald Dunn on the bass, Roger Halkins drums, Chuck Kilpatrick backing vocals, and John Samatro on backing. First track is Everybody Ought to Make a Change. This is another Sleepy John Estes song. Really good version of Sleepy's. Gives it a little bit more oomph. Really good. The Shape You're In. This is very Texas blues. You know, like LaGrange, that do sort of sound. I love it, and it's a great track. Ain't Going Down. So Dire Straits, it's unreal, but I don't mind that. This is like Eric's version of Sultans of Swing. I've Got a Rock and Roll Heart, another brilliant track. Love the melody to this. Some great guitar work on that one. Man Overboard, Southern Rock, and it's best done by a British guy. Brilliant. Pretty Girl, just a gentle ballad. Love Eric's guitar work on this. Man in Love. This is just a great blues track, great guitar, foot tapping stuff. My favourite track on the album. Then we got Crosscut Saw. This is a song that was recorded by the Mississippi Bluesmen in 1941. It's been covered by practically all the blues artists, including Eric, and his version is solid as ever. Slow Down Linda. This is a bit of a boogie shuffle sort of track, like that. Then we got Crazy Country Hop. This is a Johnny Otis song from 1958. It's very shuffle again, and this is a terrific version of it as well. Eric's best album from the 80s, without a doubt. It's got some really good tracks on this, some good rockers, good blues, little bit of 80s there creeping in, of course, but it's just a great album, and I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 8.7. Need another drink before we crack on. Right, coming in number 2 then, we go to the second album released in 1974. 461 Ocean Boulevard. Eric Clapton on here, George Terry, Albany Galton, Dick Sims, Carl Raddle, Jamie Oldacre, Al Jackson Jr., Yvonne Elliman. Motherless Child. Now, you remember on the bluesy album he did a very more traditional version. This is the more upbeat, rockier version, and it's still a great song. Both versions that Eric does of this, you got the traditional version and then you got this more rockier one. Brilliant. You know what you're doing with a song that was recorded in 1927 is brilliant. Give Me Strength. Oh, the guitar work on this is superb. It's so chilled out. Love it. Then we get a cover of a Johnny Otis song that everyone's done, Willie and the Hand Jive. It's a great song anyway. Everyone that does a version of this has always done a good version, and Eric's is spot on. Then we Get Ready. This is brilliant. This is a duo he does with Yvonne Elliman. You know, she played Mary Magdalene in the Jesus Who Superstar with Ian Gillan. It's one of my favourite tracks on this album. Brilliant. Then we get I Shot the Sheriff, a classic from Eric, obviously written by Bob Marley, but I prefer Eric's version to Bob's. The vocal on the original really is weird, but what makes this is the backing vocal from Yvonne Elliman. It's excellent. Next track is called I Can't Hold On. Willie Dixon wrote this, but Elmore James recorded it, and it is a great version. Great blues number, brilliant. Please Be With Me, done by Scott Boyer, and I think Eric's version is as good as the original. Let It Grow, classic Eric Clapton, isn't it? Very moody blues in places, but there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's just a terrific track. Love that track. Steady Rolling Man, which of course is a Robert Johnson song. again, a really good interpretation. He always does great versions of his songs, of course. This is a little bit more funky, but it's really good. Then my favourite track on this album is the last track, Mainline Florida. This is a great rock track. Great melody, great riffs in this. Fantastic. Great way to end this album. Classic album. Play this a lot. Sterling covers from top to bottom. Solid album. I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.8. So after all these albums, we've only got to number 1, and I think most people will know what it is. It's the 5th album, released in 1977, and it's just called Slowhand. Eric's nickname. On here we got Eric Clapton, Dick Sims, George Terry, Carl Cradle, Jamie Oldacre on the drums, and Mel Collins, the saxophone player who turns up on lots of our ranking shows. Yvonne Elliman's on here, and Marcy Livy. First track, Cocaine. Okay, it's a J.J. Cale song, but Eric made it his own, didn't he? I love both versions of this, and it's a great song anyway. Great stuff. Then we get Wonderful Tonight, classic song. I just love this song. Lovely guitar solo on it, it's just brilliant. Lay Down Sally, a little boogie shuffle song, and one of his best off this album. Oh, just love it. Then we get Next Time You See Her. Love the guitar picking on this, which really makes this song brilliant. We're All the Way. Now this is another song that I've heard before, because it's done by Don Williams. Another song that I heard on one of my granddad's albums, and he does a great version of this, and I love Yvonne Elliman's vocal on this as well. Brilliant stuff. Then we go on to the side 2, and this is my favourite track. One of my favourite tracks by Eric. So on his solo albums, it's called The Core. Lots of reason. It's a great rocker, but it's got such a fantastic sax solo by Mel Collins, one of the best in the business, who seems to play on everyone's. This is just that rock, jazz, blues, fusion and prog, and it jams away, and it's just brilliant. It's 8 minutes and 45 of just brilliance. I don't know how much of that was actually jam and how much is actually part of the song, because they just go off and do such a great jam. It's brilliant. May You Never. This is a John Martin song. It's a little bit slower than Eric's version, but Eric's version is better because I think it's more up tempo. Me and Old Frisco. Another song that was recorded by a chap called Arthur Cradle in 1942. The original is just that guitar. Eric comes along and gives it some beef and turned this into a brilliant song. I love it. Peaches and Diesel. The solid, isn't it? This has got the best guitar solo on the whole album. I love that organ. It's just nice and gentle though. Flowing song, great song. Well, this is my number 1 for one reason. An album that opens up with Cocaine, Wonderful Night, Long Tall Sally. What a start. 3 great tracks. And then you get The Core. Some of the covers are on here are probably better than all the originals. And that's why it's my number 1. Even though there's lots of covers on it, it's just a truly a brilliant album from Eric Clapton. And I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. Well, that was a long one. There's a few mistakes in that one. I'm not going to edit it out. I like just doing warts and all, so I do apologise if I've cocked up anywhere. But when you do these long ones, it does takes a little time to get together, and you do miss out little bits. But anyway, hope you've enjoyed that. We'll be back tomorrow. We've got Battle of the Debuts, and we've got two giants from Scotland tomorrow. We have got Simple Minds against Big Country, and then tomorrow's album artwork is a very special one because tomorrow is the first day of the Jubilee celebrations of the Platinum Jubilee of the Queen. 70 years as the Queen. Pretty impressive stuff. So me and Dave, I have done one of our album cover specials. We've called it The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. So you've got the good. All these are three separate little videos with all the album work from the last 70 years. So that's all right. There is no live stream tomorrow, but there will be a weekly update because I'm going out tomorrow evening. So have a great day, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow.